today, which was our stance now on Iran has dramatically changed yet again. Just a few months ago under Bush, no talks ever. It had always been that way since 1979. Then President Obama said, well, let's talk with some conditions. And now the Obama administration is about to drop even that condition, go, well, let's just talk. I mean, even if you got the nuclear thing, whatever, let's sit down and talk. Joel Rosenberg is here. Joel Rosenberg is the author of Inside the Revolution. Joel, I don't even know where to start with this one, other than, I guess, maybe with an interview that I did with Benjamin Netanyahu about 2 years ago, and I said, you guys are being set up. And he said, what do you mean? And I said, I think the world is going to start pushing towards, oh, let's just be friends with Iran. This is way before Barack Obama. And I said, they're going to lose the window. Everybody's going to push for peace. And then you're going to have to go in because you can't let these nut jobs have these weapons. And you guys are going to be deemed the bad guys and the rest of the world will pound you. And he said, well, be as it may, but we have a right to survive. You think that scenario's coming true?
It's coming to fruition, unfortunately. This is a very bad scenario right now, Glenn. You got the Prime Minister of Israel, Netanyahu, who understands that there's an apocalyptic, genocidal death cult running Iran right now.
Hey, God,
they are determined to get the nuclear weapons and destroy Israel. And as we've talked about before, Israel's only the little Satan. The United States is the great Satan. And as I quote extensively in the book, the president of Iran and the top leaders of Iran really want to annihilate the United States. So the idea that we will now drop this precondition and not force Iran to stop enriching uranium before we sit down and talk is a huge mistake. I would describe it as appeasement.
Author of Inside the Revolution, Joel Rosenberg, is back with us. Okay, we were talking about why we can't let Iran get nuclear weapons, and most people will say, oh, come on, fine, you know, France has nuclear weapons. These people aren't French, at least the people currently running it. You say they're apocalyptic, genocidal maniacs? Is that what it was?
Death cult leaders.
That's right.
Death cult leaders.
Right. Explain what that means.
Yeah. Well, as I describe it Inside the Revolution in quite a bit of detail, the leaders of Iran believe that the end of the world is here. They believe that the Islamic Messiah, the 12th Imam, is coming imminently. That's the word they're using, imminent. And they believe that their mission in life is to hasten or speed up the coming of the Islamic Messiah by destroying Judeo-Christian civilization as we know it.
So if I may put this in Christian terms, if you're somebody who believes in end times prophecy, you know that Jesus is coming and the 7-year tribulation and everything else, and you'd be like, you know what, I think we can get this done in 2.5 years if we can make this happen. We'll just hurry up and make things chaotic. That's what they believe, that there needs to be great chaos here. And Muslims, you know, Muslim blood flowing through the streets, et cetera, et cetera. And so they really, truly believe that it would be best for Islam and best for Allah if they would just hurry that up. Why wait?
That's the problem. We've never had a nation's leadership in any part of the world at any time in history have the death cult features that the Iran leadership has now.
True or false?
Prime Minister.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say Prime Minister Netanyahu understands this. I've talked to him about it. I quote him in the book. But our administration does not. And I believe a train wreck is coming between the United States and Israel over how to handle Iran. This is the worst moment in U.S.-Israel relations in 61 years.
I agree with you. And in America, we cannot abandon. I mean, you cannot abandon Israel on this one. You have to understand the religious zealots that are over there. I don't understand why in our country we have the left that are so afraid of anybody in a church even saying anything about, you can't say God in schools because that's just going to go crazy. But they will completely dismiss people. And this isn't all of the people in Iran. Understand this. These are the people that are in charge right now, specifically Ahmadinejad. And even the Ayatollah Khomeini thought this cult, which now controls their government, was so dangerous, true or false, he executed them. He wanted them all wiped out because he said, the Ayatollah said they were too crazy.
He certainly wanted them banned. And look, I'm an evangelical Christian, and I believe in end times prophecy. But Jesus' end times prophecy is that we're supposed to go out and share the gospel and try to save tens of millions of people, whereas apocalyptic Shia Muslim eschatology or end time theology says to kill all the Jews and Christians or convert them to Islam. And that's the danger, is that the current administration doesn't understand it.
So what do you do?
One of the reasons
Joe,
I wrote the book is try to help Washington understand it.
So what do you do? What's the solution here?
Well, it depends if you're talking about the American government or the Israeli government. The American government has to understand who is across the table, and they have to make a choice. The top experts believe Iran will have nuclear weapons within a year, year and a half tops. So,
faster.
If you're going to talk to them, you better understand who you're dealing with. But personally, I believe we're out of time. And I believe North Korea is the evidence. We've been talking to North Korea in six-party talks for 10 years. And where are we? They have their first nuclear weapon tested. They have an intercontinental ballistic missile that they've tested. 15 Iranian military advisors were at that launch last weekend. And now they're restarting their nuclear arms program. When you're talking to genocidal maniacs, talking won't work. And unfortunately, we are headed into war with Iran. Either the United States will launch it to protect Western civilization, or Israel will.
Israel will.
Unless there's an act of God, there's a crisis coming of biblical proportions.
Okay, Joel, you don't have to end it that way. Jeez, for the love of... It's not... Smile, lollipop. Hey, everything's going to be great. Joel, thanks a lot. We'll talk again.